now that they're here and I've kind of got you guys prepped on what I'm talking about, we can get busy about talking about these triads, danged on triads, right? Which pop up everywhere. 3 is just a great number to break stuff down. It's small, it's concise, you can get in, you can get out, you can be done really, really fast. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is just have a good, concise, like, breakdown on these deities. But the Arcitech guys, man, these are among the most important. Like, they always get a background role, right? They're always pushed to the back. And I don't know why, except maybe Ptah, right? They all kind of get, because Ptah, I'm telling you, Ptah's probably the strongest mythology right now. And we're going to talk about each one of these guys individually. And Ptah's like the oldest. Like, he's actually the OG of the architect world, right? This type of divine architect triad. And these guys build everything. I mean, like, they design from structures of city. Like, Ptah actually gets into, like, how the cosmos is done. Like, they're essential to fire with Hephaestus, Ogun with iron, which became sacred to the people, which represents that Iron Age and how important that Iron Age actually was, right? And then, of course, Ptah is the ultimate blueprint guy. He gets everything. He can script and plan everything out. Like I'm so far ahead of everybody else that it's not even funny, especially to him. He didn't laugh at anything. But we're gonna look at it and see what this triad really represents. So first, let's line the triad up. You can see who we've got there. We've got Hephaestus, right? Hephaestus. This guy over here. This is the Greek entry, and he's got a good reputation. Well, he has a terrible reputation for getting cheated on by Aphrodite, but overall, we know about this guy. But he gets dissed within his own pantheon. Like Ares, I think it's Ares just having at his wife. Like, they don't even, hide it or anything like that. So he gets mad, disrespected. I think there's a myth there of him getting some kind of revenge, like making Zeus do something to compensate for everybody, like getting at my wife openly right in front of me, right? Because this guy goes to work every day. I don't know if you guys know Aphrodite, but man, you don't want to mess with her, man. You never want to mess with like that one, okay? Get you a nice, Greek goddess. Do not go after Aphrodite. You're asking for. I know what you guys are gonna do anyway. She rises up out of the conch shell, and you guys are like, it's Aphrodite. And I'm telling you, she ain't worth it. She's a big headache for Hephaestus. You ask him about it. We're gonna talk a little bit more about their marriage as I kind of get into talking about him. Okay. He's also known as Vulcan. And then there's Ogun, right? And Ogun comes from West Africa, and he's it, man. He is the Orisha of, I think he encompasses like war, but mainly iron, because it was sacred metal at this time. He's actively worshipped. I don't know if Hephaestus has got much active worship going on. I'll see you every now and then pop up in like a DC joint or something like that, but I don't know if people are still like repping Hephaestus in the same way. Ogun, I know, is getting love right now. I know somebody's putting on some offerings from a man Ogun right now. That's not in question, right? And Ptah, like, I don't know, like, people still obviously talk about Ptah, and he's one of the most well-documented deities. Like, we know a lot about Ptah and where he stands in the pantheon. He's kind of above everybody else. Like, when I look at Ptah, I'm like, yeah, you don't hang out with the rest of those guys. On the weekends, you don't hang out with the other natters. You're like, yeah, I don't even have time for these guys. So that's his take on everything. But let's get into them individually, and let's allow the complexity to grow, because these guys are separated not only by geography, right? So we've got we got North Africa and West Africa. So but Africa's huge, right? So that's like, you might as well be another continent. And then right up above, right, the North Africa. So I guess these guys are kind of linked if you really think about it. Like, right, obviously Hephaestus is Greek. The Greek would come along and be all up in Egypt, by the time Alexander got there. And then geographically, they're not that far apart. Like, we're like, what is it? It's not the Aegean. Is it the Aegean? And then you're right there, like you go North Africa and you cross it and you're into the Mediterranean, or is it the Mediterranean Sea? I'm not sure which, but you guys get it. Just a body of water there that separates the Greek world from North Africa. This is why this invasion goes down in the first place, by the way, because they're right there and they're like, you can keep on knocking, but you can't come in. I don't know who's going to get that reference, but if you get it, go and hit that like and subscribe, homie, because we are right there. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? So they're separated by geography. Then you got, North Africa to West Africa, which sounds like a distance there. And then you got some centuries. You got some time coming through here. Again, Ptah is the OOOG, being the first one recorded in history. And that all makes sense. But we're going to start off by not talking about him. I think we're going to talk about Hephaestus first. Like, he's the first one that I really want to talk and just get right up on this guy. Again, Hephaestus, also known as his Roman equivalent, which is Vulcan. And the important thing about Vulcan is that his primary domains are fire, meteorology, invention, engineering, and automatons, which is something crazy I hadn't realized, but he does make automatons, and we'll talk about that later. Now, his primary cult centers, which he did have, were at Athens and then Lemnos. So he had two. And his literary research sources go back to Homer's epic, like 8,000, BCE. So this is old school. This guy's been around. He's venerated. He's still not as old as Ptah, but we'll explain why Ptah is the big papa of all this, right? Now, Hephaestus is also known as the wounded god. And there's a reason for that. He's the only Olympian who isn't physically perfect. That's a major thing. This is why they keep this guy hidden in the furnace room all the time, and they never let him come out. He's like the Rudolph of the gods, right? Like, you're useful when you're useful. But when you're not, I'm really not even trying to look at you. Is that you standing over there? Just go in the back. I don't want to see whatever mutilation and imperfection you have. That's essentially how he gets treated among the gods. So he's the wounded god. Now, this is how it went down, man. It's a rough story no matter how you slice this bad boy up. Either Hera threw him from Olympus because he was born lame, or Zeus hurled him from heaven for defending Hera. One of those two. I don't know which one you guys want to go with. I kind of believe either tale is terrible, right? Either one of these tales is absolutely horrific. Now, I don't know if I believe that a god was born lame. I don't know if you can make a divine being who's born lame, as they say that this is why Hera tossed him out of Olympus. I don't know if I believe that account. But if I know Zeus, I could definitely see you like throwing somebody out of a window, throwing you from heaven because you got in the way of me like having this argument with my wife, right? I could see that happen. So we'll never know. I guess we'll have to talk to Hephaestus one day. Maybe he'll tell us. Whatever, he falls, he lands on Lemnos, and he breaks. So he gets broken in that. However, he got thrown out, right? Imagine you're the only god who got thrown out. Like, this is an identity shaper in ways that we haven't seen. Like, the gods threw you away. They're lucky. He's lucky that they just call him the wounded god, because I would have called him a whole lot worse. I would have compassion for you, but behind your back, I would be like, man, that's trash, man, right? Like, I hope you looking out on Friday. Don't stand still on Fridays because someone might come and pick you up, right? Don't stand over there by a collection of trash because you might just get hauled away too. Okay, so you're the most disposable. But instead of becoming a god of vengeance, he instead becomes a god of construction, right? And in this moment, this matters. He sets himself apart, right? He doesn't embrace vengeance. He goes on to do something that is more groundbreaking. He is an archetype of this rejected genius. That's really what he is. He's this rejected genius. He is the isolated craftsman because you're by yourself. Trust me, Aphrodite is. You see where he works at? You think Aphrodite's coming down there sweating her perm out or whatever would happen down there in that heat? I feel very confident that Aphrodite as a wife never came down to his job just to be like, hey, honey, let me check on you. That's not. So he is this isolated craftsman. He is the outcast who later becomes indispensable. That's where he gets his power from, is that you guys always want to go to war, but you know what? Nobody knows how to make anything. Oh, isn't that inconvenient? Isn't that inconvenient that everybody wants a weapon to slay enemies, right? But nobody knows how to make a weapon. So who's got to pick up all the pieces? Me, Hephaestus, the guy you threw away. You literally took me and threw me out of heaven. You just threw me out of heaven like I was nothing. and I crashed down to the ground, and I was broken, and I built myself back up. And now you guys are like, hey, do you think you can design me a lightning bolt? And all on Hephaestus's part is you do it. Like I said, you are the Rudolph of the Greek gods. You don't let them treat you bad like that, and you come by and use your nose to guide them on their merry way to deliver. F off, man. Like, who's the first god in the world to be like, you know what? Right there, buddy. Who is the first one? It's certainly not this guy. But anyway, I digress. I digress. But what he represents is the furnace heat. He represents the kiln fire. This is internal combustion of industry. So he represents industry, and he is a genius level. He's not just like, I'm hammering some stuff, hammering away. It's not just that. Like, this is craftsmanship, this is design, and he's got all this symbolism worked into what he really is. This is wildfire that he tames it with chaos. He brings it all together. He takes the forest and the forge, and he creates civilization, right? The fire is wild, but that forge, I'm going to hold this fire down, right? I'm going to bust this fire. Like, I'm going to beat the out of this fire, and you're going to do what I tell you to do, right? That's Hephaestus's world. So he doesn't burn cities. He makes cities possible. So he is a creator and a good guy, like a decent guy, right? Maybe he needs to shave. He's working all day long, right? He's working all day. I don't have flowing white robes on and like a golden like tiara like Zeus. I'm sorry, okay? I had to go to work, so I'm wearing overalls and like protectors for my hands because I'm working with fire and metal. So I'm sorry, all right? But anyway, and he's built all the best weapons. Every weapon that the Greeks have that they use in battle, yeah, this guy right here made everything. Let me give you the list. This guy makes Zeus's thunderbolts, which is enough to get you in the Hall of Fame. If you say, I made Zeus's thunderbolt, everyone should be like, oh man, come on in. Can I get you a drink? Like, hey, you made Zeus's thunderbolt. Can I get a selfie, right? Eternally, that's what we're getting out of this guy is everybody should love you because you made the dopest weapon of all time, okay? You also made Hermes' winged helmet, which is mad useful. It said that you made the Aegis, which is a shield. This is a shield that is absolute terror. This shield would go on to be wielded by not only Zeus, but you've probably seen it with Athena. Athena wields this bad boy like it ain't no thing, right? Like that, it's right up Athena's alley. The one with the Medusa, it's got Medusa's face on it, like carved in it, right? Right? It's got Bluetooth. It's everything that you would want out of a shield. This guy made it, okay? And this is the top tier weapon here, okay? Then you have the necklace of Harmonia that he makes, the throne that traps Hera. He makes Pandora, the first artificial woman. And my favorite, yeah, I got stuck on that artificial woman too. If that hit you and you were like, what? I felt the same way. I reacted the same way. I'm like, what do you mean you made an artificial? What are you doing? Why? What? I don't understand why, but he made an artificial woman. And this is made by a god. So who knows what this artificial, maybe this is the first Cherry 2000, okay? Or what would they call it? Ariadne 1000 or whatever it would be for that era, right? But the main thing, my chef's kiss for him is Achilles armor. Not that it replaces Zeus's thunderbolts, but you made Achilles armor too, which is clean and sleek, and Achilles just wore that armor, man, like it was perfection. That armor was armoring, right? It was totally armored. So this is where he gets, all this fame. He also forges Talos. This was a bronze giant who was an automation who patrols the island of Crete, which is a mad story. So this is a mythological freaking robot. Who was talking about robots back then? You know who was? This guy right here was talking about robots. And if you've ever seen, man, I want to think, what was the movie, man? Oh man, it's like a telling of the Odyssey. And I know they got Hercules. This is an old school, man. I think this one's made like in the 70s. Was it Jason? It's Jason and the Argonauts. I think it's Jason and the Argonauts, man. Bam! Right? Jason and the Argonauts. And I want to say, man, I remember watching this as a kid. Let me see when this movie came out because I'm telling you, this is a great movie, and it's the only movie I've seen where they actually show this automation that he builds. Talos. It's awesome too. It's giant, all fully, I mean, this is killing people, and they figure out how to like let all its life juices out. So they do get it. Didn't take him much time, but he was devastating while he was still alive. Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's see. When did Jason and the Argonauts come out? The first one, the OG. And I'm telling you guys, like, I've watched this movie a million times, and I didn't even realize that this is one of Hephaestus's inventions. I didn't realize that at all, but now this kind of brings it all together, right? He also builds these mechanical servants out of gold. He builds living metal guardians. So he was all about robotics. So it's 1963. Go look that up. Jason and the Argonauts, 1963. It's one of the best, like, that era films about mythology and gods ever. Like, I'm down with it, man. I'm 100% down with it. It's old school, so these guys are, like, the old school guys, I'm really impressed with what they put together because they didn't have all the technology, right? These guys are doing it raw, and it was a great representation. And, you know, you don't have Hephaestus, but you do have Hercules in the series. So this guy right here, this OG, was all about artificial intelligence. He was developing artificial intelligence like 800 BCE. Okay, so this is way ahead of Isaac Asimov, like any of them. They were already imagining engineered life, which, you know, this is a small thing that I've never heard anyone really mention about the Greeks. We talk about a lot of great components, a lot of good stuff that comes out of their mythology. That's why we talk about it so much. But this is a part I wasn't even up on. I guess it was in my face. But when you're a kid, you're not necessarily seeing this stuff, right? So I'm seeing it now, okay? I'm seeing it now, and I'm breaking it down to you guys. I'm delivering it just like it is. It's hot and ready all the time, right? I'm here for your mythological queries, right? So let's talk about Hephaestus more, and I'm gonna get into this wife with Aphrodite, like this marriage, which was doomed, okay? So this marriage is essentially beauty and industry, which do not go together. Right? This guy's at work all day. I don't know if you guys know what Aphrodite's doing all day, but it's nothing other than just laying around being beautiful. And everybody knows their husband's at work. So at least Ares is like, anyway, let me get into the whole marriage. So the marriage is said to be, it was clearly symbolic, right? It was craft married to desire. And I know those sound like they go together, but they don't. You know, Aphrodite cheats on him with Ares. And it just kind of like Ares is, again, you know, the bad boy. This is what happens, right? Moet popping, ho hopping, ain't no stopping. Big Papa, I'm a bad boy. And that's what Ares was. Like, Ares was the baddest boy. Like, after Zeus, this is Zeus' son. After Zeus, Ares is the bad boy, right? Like, after it happened, because, you know, Aphrodite is Zeus' sister, I believe, right? She's a sister. No, she's a sister, right? She was just created, right? After it happens and Ares does what he does, you know Zeus is like, that's my boy, right? And it pisses off Hephaestus because this is the same guys who threw me out of the window, okay? But they give him her because the gods need weapons. So she was like the lure to kind of keep him happy, which is totally messed up for him. It's just a train wreck, man. Like, you're at work all day, like cranking it out, and like your wife is the goddess is also cranking it out too, with like someone who's going to talk shit. And that's the thing. It's not like Ares wouldn't talk shit and laugh about it later. He's going to laugh right in your face. They're known for that. But I digress, okay? And then one of his most underrated myths is this whole throne of Hera, which he got hurt, right? So this is the engineer's revenge. He gets his, right? So he creates his golden throne for Hera. And you're like, all right, Hera, it's a solid gold throne. Girl, this is all for you. Like, I'm not even going to try. We can bring this to somebody else. This is 100% for you. I crafted to shape your butt. Like, your butt is a goddess's butt. I shaped the seat to fit your butt. So she sits on it, and instantly invisible chains got her. I gotcha. No god can set her free. None of the gods, as powerful as they all are, none of them can set her free. Only the engineer knows how to undo the mechanism. And this is a profound myth, because power without understanding technology, he showed them vulnerability. For the first time, the gods had to stop and be like, uh-oh. Like, he has a measure of control over Olympus that is not through force at all. It's through mechanism. And this is the idea that technology can defeat hierarchy. So he is the most disrespected and the most dangerous out of all the deeds. Like, he could be putting traps in the doors. Like, you can't sit on anything and not worry about, like, are there some invisible magical chains on here? Right? Am I cool with Hephaestus? That changes the landscape. You can't let him make you a weapon without worrying about what else did he put in here. Is it actually drawing out my life essence? So there's a lot going on with him having that control. But Hephaestus is a very conscious deity, right? He keeps himself very grounded, and that is about his association with the earth. His workspaces are typically located beneath volcanoes, because I guess, right, who's going to get you the hottest heat in of all time? Volcanoes, of course, which, his Roman name is, Vulcan, obviously, right? That symbolism there. It's associated with destruction, pressure and release, right? That's what volcanoes are all about. Molten earth becoming solid land. So he kind of reminds me in that way of like Pele, some of the other volcano deities, and how they spread and build. But what he represents is his subterranean intelligence. He's not a sky authority. He's not ocean chaos. He is grounded in the earth and transformation from the earth. So he represents the hidden systems beneath society. Now, on a psychological level, he is the introverted genius. He's quiet, right? Just works out apparently all the time. Goes to the gym after he gets off work all the time. He's a craftsman who doesn't talk but only speaks through his output. I don't have to speak about it because I'll be about it. I don't need to tell you, like, first of all, I don't need to tell you how great my weapon is. And I don't need you to tell me how great it is either, because I already know. I don't need you to tell me how great these thunderbolts are, because I made it. I already know what they're capable of doing. I'll teach you a few things about it along the way, Zeus, if that's what you're thinking. So this is the guy, right? He's also this wounded creator, and he's the mind that fixes what others break. So he is all about that. He's not charismatic. He's not all like clean. Like, guy's dirty right now. He's not glamorous, right? Clearly. But he is indispensable. Without him, right, Olympus has an issue, because you're going to need weapons, because you guys are always, facing that threat. Like, this is cosmic destruction. Okay. Now, he also has a strong attachment, obviously, to fire, which we typically associate with Prometheus, right? Because he brings fire to humanity. Well, Hephaestus refines what fire is. He, one steals a spark of fire, Prometheus. The other one, like, industrializes it. And that's Hephaestus. So without him, fire stays mythic. It never becomes industrialized and associated with smelting metal. So this is why he's so important. So I'm gonna talk about the other two, but just kind of outlining him. Hephaestus is the tool. That's what he represents. He is a bridge between idea and civilization. He compresses all that and makes stuff happen. This is the momentum of raw energy becoming shaped matter. That's really what he is all about. So I love talking about this guy. He needs to get his shine. Like, otherwise, man, this guy can just, the fact that he hasn't shot up the joint just shows you, like, how calm this guy is and what a good guy is. There's all reflection of him. Nothing about Ares or Aphrodite. Shame on you guys. Shame, okay, I tell you. So now we get to talk about, man, OG Ogun, right? Who is all about iron and civilization. And you know what? This is a great one. I forgot about his connection to civilization. It's very, very powerful. And I'll talk about it a little bit. What he's known for is obviously iron, but warfare, technology, roads, and hunting. This guy's got a lot of beliefs that he's working with. This is a multi-layered guy. This is guy's onions. You can peel him back and you get more layers. He is, of course, associated with Yoruba from West Africa. So Yoruba belief systems. This is pre-colonial West Africa and moved with the diaspora. So he's all around the world. He's a global phenomenon. They got him from West Africa. He came on the ship too. You guys were bringing some stuff on the ship. Didn't even know what it was, right? So he's worked his way into, Santeria, Candomblé, right? So he's in Brazil, he's in Haiti, he's in the United States in the South. Like, I rep this dude all the time. And he is the path opener. He is the iron civilizer. If Hephaestus forges tools, Ogun uses to carve civilization. And that's like, I did a great myth. I know it's on the channel already. And I talk about his role in creating civilization. Because he, like the forest did, like the other Orishas showed up. And they're like, man, we want to create a civilization. But man, it's all these like plants and stuff. And they didn't know what to do. It was a jungle. And the jungle's like, yeah, okay. Jungles don't bend for gods, ordinarily, right? And then this guy shows up with a machete, and all of a sudden, the jungle was like, hey, wait a minute. The forest was like, whoa, because he was cutting it down. He laid it all down. So he is the one who clears the forest, he builds the road, he forges the weapons, he defends the community. And he is iron, not just fire, although fires are obviously part of it. Fire is more potential, where iron, man, that's structure. Iron is structure. You build stuff with iron, you make stuff with iron. So iron is 100% structure. So he becomes, in this cosmology, he's essential for civilizations to function. Without iron, you don't get not only weapons, you don't get like ritual tools, you don't get agricultural tools. So this guy is both a creator and a designer, and he's brutal, man. Like when he was hacking through the jungle, like it's straight up brutality. Obviously he's a big dude, you don't want to mess with him, right? He's even killed. He's a pretty happy guy, and he's easy to kind of appease this guy, right? Like I'm not gonna, if you run across and you're like, man, I gotta get a gift for Ogun, right? It's easy. He's easy. This guy loves iron. He is crazy about it, right? If you get this guy some iron, I don't know about anything else. I've never heard anything about drinks or brandy, any of that stuff, but I know if you bring this guy some iron, you're in there, man. You are in there, pimp. That's his motto right there. Bring me some iron. And this is a very complex guy, because what he does is he embodies industrial realism. He is the structure that starts the cities and all that stuff. Like this guy would have totally been down with industry and would probably be like a power broker. I mean, you know, clearly, I wouldn't want to be in the board meeting because I think he's going to show up there with a machete. And that's just not acceptable in this world anymore. Okay? You can't just show up with the machete and expect us all to sit down and have a reasonable conversation, which I'm assuming you're not expecting any of that, right? So but that's where he fits in. And the respect for this guy in the community culturally is extremely high. Now, because he represents the strength and the power, but also the mental capacity and just the noodle. Like he got stuff done. Nothing ever stood in his way. You know, that's who he was. Can't stop, won't stop, right? But now we get to talk about this guy, who again, this is the OGest. This is like one of the oldest deities. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it in your face, Ptah. You've been talked about longer than anyone else. Like, I think he goes all the way back to like 3000 BCE, where the first inklings of what would be Ptah start being talked about, because he is literally, he's creation through thought and speech. So he really represents, like, you know, the artist. He represents architects, true architecture. And this guy comes out of the Kemetic or Egyptian pantheon. So we're talking, you know, he's part of the Memphite theology, and we'll talk more about that. His primary cult center being in Memphis. Now, he really rises to prominence early on. We're talking about 2600 BCE. He's already being written about a lot. Like, he's documented. Like, he's certified by this point. He's already certified. Everything else is just collecting more trophies and awards. Now, he doesn't create with fire. He doesn't create with a hammer. He creates it with thought, right? He just like, yeah, I got this, right? And he does. He manifests. So this is divine creation. He understands all the blueprints, and he also represents the idea of materializing. He conceives creation in his heart, right? This is important. And then he speaks it into existence. So, oh yeah, by the way, there is a couple of creation myths. There's a couple of creation myths that are running around, you know, the Kemetic world. He is one of them because he's the guy who, you know, at least in his story, he speaks it into existence. This is very powerful in talking about manifestations in general. The idea of spoken word, he's one of the first deities that you hear that associated with, Ptah. This is why he's so important. And this is not crapping on like forge or iron, but he was blueprint. he conceives and then he exists. He manifests. That's his realm. He is what makes the other two possible. So again, he's older and he's more of a divine concept. Whereas we know that at least with Ogun, the Orishas, they were forces of nature themselves. So he was an embodiment, different embodiment, not lesser, but more direct to the people. Nobody could ever talk to Ptah. Nobody even knows Ptah's number. Yeah, he has a phone. Nobody knows this guy's number. I don't know what he's doing with it or who he's calling, but I know you can't call him because he's not interested in talking about it because he's got some deep thinking to do. That's what he's concept. He is the scheme. He is what makes things happen. So the structure of relationship between these guys is varied in the sense that Hephaestus is more the tool. Hephaestus forges, Ptah thinks, Ogun builds a world within that structure. So we see a full arc of what we have in terms of these creators, how they manifest reality, how they structure the world, what tools they use, and how each of them manifested. So you can see that Ogun manifests at a time when, before colonization, when they're actually building the guts of their framework of their nation. So he's crucial in that component. He can never be dismissed in that way. So he is idealized with the idea of expansion and civilizing the world, whereas Ptah is operating way up here. And with Hephaestus, you're talking to only gods. You don't deal with common people either. Maybe that's your problem. Maybe get off your high horse and come down here for a little while, be around some people who would actually appreciate you, right? Like we'd actually show you some love. So this is the full arc of these guys, and they're amazing because we see these guys kind of repeated in history. So I kind of wanted to look at these and say, okay, if I had to say, like, what are the modern kind of spin-offs of these guys? And the first guy I thought about, was Tony Stark, right? This is who I thought about first, because Tony Stark kind of reminds me of Ptah. Like, I would kind of, let me see if I had some notes on this. What did I do with it, right? Let's see if I can find my notes. But I was thinking, like, Reed Richards. I was thinking Tony Stark, right? These guys are builders, and that's the kind of mindset I think that it would take to kind of, the human representation, like what we see extrapolated. Guys who can conceive of things. Iron Man and Ogun fit like that. Like Ogun, I could see him like liking this dude and kicking it with it. You're Iron, even though it's not really Iron. You call yourself Iron Man, that dude's going to show you some mad love. Maybe he shows you some things dimensionally that you weren't even up on, even for Tony Stark brain. So back to your mythological queries. Like, I just wanted to get into this piece, kind of break down this archetype because it had been bugging me and I hadn't gotten into it previously. So I wanted to get it out of the way because, look, there's no way I could go forward and not talk about these guys. They're foundational, and that's important for a lot of reasons. And, for us to understand the structure, who builds what it comes from. I'm sure down the road I'll get into like more about the weapons, especially for Hephaestus. And Ogun builds some amazing weapons as well. I think Oya's whips and Shango's axe, I think, may come from him. But I'll verify that, and we'll do a MythLab on those. Yeah. So at any rate, man, I'm here. I'll be back. I'm gonna check out here. And been a hot minute. Yeah, I haven't been on. Yeah, Doomsday. Yeah, dude. Okay, so I'm back. And I think my format's better, right? Yeah, so I think you're going to like this. And I'm going to be back on. Like, this is my second one a day. So I'm just falling into a better schedule right now. So it just kind of works out that I can kind of get a little bit more stuff done. But yeah, I'll definitely be back. I'm definitely looking, checking you out. Let me know hit me up. Let me know what your thoughts are and stuff. But definitely appreciate you always being in and supporting it. So I'll be back again. I'm gonna, it's about that den time, so I'm gonna get a little late night grub and work on some new material for tomorrow. So I will be back, and look out for me again in the AM, usually on about 11 Central, and then I try to do an evening one, which is kind of more mellow. I'm just kind of more chilled out, but just to give you guys some good stuff, and I think I get some good content all the way through it. So that's kind of where I'm aiming for. Again, I'm here for you guys, right? I work hard, man. I'm not gonna short you guys ever when I come with the information, right? Like, sharing is caring, right? So this is at the top of the list. Sharing knowledge is the sincerest form of love, and I love you guys, and I appreciate every time, every bit of support you got. Even if you don't go in the comments and give me some material to work with, I still appreciate your support by watching. Thank you again. I'll be back for TikTok. I'm stepping out. Check you guys out, my man Doomslayer. Check you out. And back to YouTube. Whew, man, those guys are going. So at any rate, YouTube, I will be back shortly. You guys will probably get my myth feed just running on some new stories later tonight. So stop in and watch if you just need to chill out. But also let me know if there's any stories you guys are interested in hearing. I am working on some new ones from